Animal Well is one animal hell of a good time. 7 out of 10. The first impression Animal Well gives you is one of intensity. Unsettling low notes played under a slew of ascending and descending tones that drag you down into the game as the Animal Well reveals itself, until you finally stop on the image of 2 rabbits. Piercing doe-like eyes are given minimal definition by single pixel points, which so easily leave you unsettled that, even on the menu, you truly do feel like this place you're about to enter is somewhere dark, ominous, and wholly set against you. This atmosphere never leaves Animal Well. It remains an oppressive force even in the larger screens, which offer a sense of freedom that the closer levels forbid. There's still a darkness and edge that leaves you knowing you're not meant for this place. But enough of that poetic bullshit, let's get down to the gameplay. I'm personally not a huge Metroidvania fan. I haven't played the classics like Metroid or Symphony of the Night, but I have played the modern masterpiece Hollow Knight and Batman Arkham Asylum. So going into Animal Well, I had an idea of what to expect. And the first few minutes lined up for me. Easy tutorial level, finding 4 mythical artifacts to unlock the boss, and using items gathered along the way to find the secrets and shortcuts and upgrades and blah 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 and so on and so on. Yet, as I continued playing, I was continually astounded by the sheer scope of Animal Well. The secrets and hidden areas I found were always shocking and almost always fulfilling when I stumbled upon them naturally, and it really gave the sense that I was exploring this massive area in a way that felt totally unique. The different tools are fine, some more useful than others. You'll use the bubble gun almost as much as the jump button, and the yo-yo hardly at all until you figure out that it can break environmental spikes. And at a certain point in Animal Well, you'll realise that nearly every item you pick up also has a secondary function as well. One of the best moments for me personally was when I was messing around with the frisbee and found out I could jump on top of it and use it as a mode of transportation. The game opens itself up for that kind of exploration and creativity, but some of the late game items that I won't spoil feel like they could have been merged or almost entirely removed by some more user-friendly UI. Animal Well itself doesn't particularly engage with UI. You have a pause menu, a map, and a simple inventory, and at times I was almost begging for a hint system or some kind of animal to pop up and show me what I was missing. I was on Reddit trying to find people who had similar problems, but couldn't find anything specific to my situation, trying every way to progress until I found a very small but incredibly obvious ladder that opened up the entire other half of the map that I couldn't get to. It was probably the lowest point in the game, and honestly, a true low point of my life. I think that as problems go, too much detail isn't that bad of one. Throughout my time playing the game, I was enthralled by how the world reacted to you, how the lanterns and vines swung as you jumped through them, how the map opened itself up through the shadows as you explored each different area. There was this constant sense that this was a living, breathing well that you were exploring and interacting with in a way that not many Metroidvanias I've ever played have done. Dialogue is replaced with brilliant environmental detail in roaming animals, or carved stones, or the little rats and little wheels keeping a ton of cats prisoners in tiny little cages. There are some other minor problems as well. As mentioned, some items feel useless, and there is always frustration when you spend time trying to figure out a puzzle before realising that you need an item you haven't got yet. The story is also very Souls-like, in that there isn't one, really, unless you really start to read into the environmental elements, which saddens me a little bit, because at points it did feel like something was happening, before the game almost knocked itself away from it and returned back to that core loop. The most fun I had in the game, other than messing around with the mechanics, was unravelling specific areas where there seemed like there was a clear story, or where I stumbled across animals just chilling out and wondered if there was something more to them, and knowing that I would probably never know if there was. Animal Well is a lot of game. I rolled credits at around hour 8, and I only got stuck majorly once. The rest of the time I was doing puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, each one different enough to be engaging whilst remaining within the simple confines of its set structure. Yet Animal Well also doesn't attempt to develop past some of the genre's limitations. Rather, it sits comfortably within them, which is something I respect as a game that knows what it wants to be, but disappoints me when the style and the atmosphere of the game are on a completely different level. It's engaging, it's entertaining, and it will probably be one of the most unique games of this year. Yet Animal Well itself doesn't particularly want to iterate on larger genre trends. Rather, it takes what elements it does spectacularly and polishes them that you'll enjoy enough to overlook its weaker aspects.